Detroit. All right, Michiganders. We got Virginia, Florida, California, fellow Cali people. Thank you. Chicago. All right. Australia. That's pretty much all the way to that different oceans. All right. Throughout the tour. So we operate these cruise ship terminals for 6 months out of the year because that's when it is easy to get to Alaska. The other 6 months out of the year, it's a little dark, a little cold, hard to access. We're the third most active cruise ship port in the United States. We're behind Miami and Fort Lauderdale in Florida. Well behind in third place because they can run year round because their cruise ships go to Mexico, the Bahamas, places like that. It's kind of warm and easy. Window would go for if you think about it from local units. I'm going to keep gently ribbing the Edgewater Hotel in a minute, but I did want to point out that off our starboard side here is our closest unobstructed view of the Space Needle that we're going to get on this cruise. It's about as close as you can get from this side of the Space Needle. It's actually coming up. So, pull out those phones, those cameras, your sketchbook if you're like really fast about that. Make some memories. I'm going to keep talking about the Edgewater though. Other doctor is Mary Frey. The residence house from season 1 is an actual house on Queen Anne Hill. I've driven by it. It's easy to find if you Google, so if you're a big Grey's Anatomy fan, you can visit the neighborhood, get some pictures from a respectful distance. The people that own the house now, they know what they bought, but it is still a private residence, so don't go ringing the doorbell or nothing. Tech Campus off the starboard side here, currently owned by Expedia.com. Used to be owned by a biotech firm called Amgen, which explains the DNA helix-shaped bridge on the right-hand side. Expedia acquired that campus in 2019, spent a few months and hundreds of millions of dollars renovating it. With all the latest bells and whistles, they opened back up for business in March of 2020, which means they had one solid day of business on their fancy new campus before everybody had to go home for COVID-19 lockdown. Just joining the Edgewater Hotel is another case of bad timing here on the waterfront. They're back open for business now. They're doing fine. Expedia.com is doing really well, actually, because they own more than 200 other travel sites. So if you've been bouncing between different sites trying to find the best price, it might have actually been Expedia tricking you into bidding against itself. Clever. These last two piers that we're going to see off the right-hand side here, the one on the right, Pier 90, that is our fishing terminal. Most of the North Pacific American fishing fleet moors up here. Not there because they're up in the colder waters near Alaska looking for wild Alaskan pollock. Interesting fish, very important to the global fishing artist. If you've ever had a fish, some kind of fish dish, and they didn't really tell you what kind of fish it was, but it was just a flaky, easily seasoned whitefish, that was pollock. Super ubiquitous. Ever had fish sticks, fast food fish fillets, pollock. And you can see the Edge docked up here at Pier 91, which is our second cruise ship terminal. One of the longest piers in the hemisphere. Also one of the first cruise ship terminals that allow cruise ships to hook up to shore power, which means while they're docked and taking on passengers or letting passengers, you don't have to run their polluting 5 feet tall from the front doors to the top of the spire. It's got 5 functional floors. Due to its massive concrete foundation that weighs just about as much as the rest of the building, its center of gravity is less than 200 feet up off the ground, so that's less than a third of the weight of the building. It is rated to withstand up to 9.0 magnitude earthquakes or greater. They can't actually improve on a scale if it can withstand up to a 9.1 or greater. And 200 mile per hour winds. So if you're visiting the Space Needle and you feel an earthquake, don't worry. It might actually wobble a lot, but that's part of the design. It is the most structurally stable building in the entire geographic region. It's sitting in an area called Seattle Center that was the old fairgrounds. There's some pretty cool buildings out there, like the Mopop, the Museum of Pop Culture, worth checking out there. They've got a wall of famous guitars. Seattle has a lot of rock and roll history. A lot of famous bands either got their start here or made their fame here. So their guitars are preserved on a pretty cool wall there. Seattle Children's Museum is there. Those white arches that you can see at the base of the Space Needle are over the Pacific Science Center, which is a pretty great spot. They got a planetarium show. They've got a laser dome. Which is my favorite word I get to say on the tour. They've also got the large IMAX screen in the region. Pacific Science Center was designed by a local legend, an architect named Minoru Yamasaki. He also designed the World Trade Center in Manhattan. He designed the Toy Picasso in Spain. He designed a bunch of famous airports out in the Middle East. And he also designed Rainier Tower, which is further east, or further to the right than our skyline. I'll try to point it out as we make our way over.
阿木赞不赞？睡不？睡哦。
漂亮啊！下面很漂亮。
你要看浪，看浪。我们现在在船的尾部，阿布，美国国旗，美国国旗阿姆跟救生小艇，西雅图。放大效果不错。Actually, all of the way to the right side, you should be able to make it out by now, since we're pretty far along the waterfront. There's a much smaller skyscraper on the right end of the waterfront. Kind of looks like a crayon from this distance. It's white, it's got a pyramid-shaped roof. That is Smith Tower, and when Smith Tower opened up in 1914, it was the tallest building in Seattle, on the west coast, and actually west of the Mississippi River here on the continent. Out of the waterfront is a 这个是 ferry。这个是 Washington State Ferry， 州的渡轮开到别的岛，车子可以开上去。Current tallest building in the skyline is the very large black monolith-shaped one to the right. It's just to the it's the next tallest building to the left of Smith Tower. That's Columbia Center. Columbia Center was built back in the 80s, and it is 997 feet tall at the height of its flagpole. 997 sounds like an awfully specific number. Why not over 1,000? Great question. They originally wanted to build it over 1,000 feet, up to about 1,006 feet. But then they got a call from the FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration, being like, hey, your building is in the flight path of two major airports, SeaTac and Boeing Field. It would be really cool if it wasn't over 1,000 feet tall. And they said, okay. And then didn't change their plans. And then they got a call from their insurance company who said, hey, we just got a call from the FAA. Who said, 妈妈，
我以为你在拍他。
拍你了，拍我们呢，
拍我们呐！耶，渡轮，
算是吧，可以啊，可以出来玩。
哦，直升机，
哦，直升机，
直升机。
我看不到，在哪里？哦，在那里。对啊，哇，好大！它有个旁边有个在推的，旁边那个在推。
像飞机一样，要上去啊！
他把它推离海边。在很多柜子。对啊，黑色那个有观景台。黑色的这个大楼叫 Columbia Center， 应该西雅图最高的吧？最高的大楼还有观景台。
抓贼！
这蛮近的，看这蛮酷的。是小船在拉这个大的吗？还是？
很多货柜哇！
哦，两条小的。
哦，
好酷！我第一次看的，要拉出去吧。
So California sea lions, that's right. California and Washington sea lions. They spend most of the year back here. These are all male sea lions, so it's breeding season. And at the start of the summer, there's an event called the Beachmaster competition where male seals all compete to see who can control various structures of beach.
在哪里？你有看到吗？你有看到海豹吗？我没有看。在哪里？
They head up here to the warm bounteous waters and to sound and gorge themselves off salmon, put on some fighting game for next year. This is training camp for them.
哎，真的，我看到了。
Look at them next year, I'm sure.
海豹，真的在
We
动。
just passed, you probably saw that off our aft.
海豹，
Pretty substantial size barge with a few tugboats attached to it.
真的海豹。
Actually, this one might be coming in. That's with Alaska Marine Lines. We're going to see if
那个是海岸防卫队的船吧？
So we're still able to Alaska.
海豹在那边躺。海豹在那边躺平日光浴。这个是海岸防卫队的军船呢，军舰。这个是 U.S. Coast Guard，U.S. Coast Guard 海岸防卫队的军舰。
On top of the superstructure, so underneath those containers, they can park rail cars. So,
对啊，吊货柜啊，吊货柜啊。
They park rail cars on them for the cargo headed to Alaska. Tug pitches up, takes about a week to get up there, and once they roll up onto the dock there, they can have locomotives pull those train cars straight off. Or load them back on, actually. It turns out a lot of the fresh Alaskan seafood comes down through Seattle on refrigerated containers. Rail cars. And then the railroad that can sign off East Coast to the city is
搞
because
错了，这个才是 U.S. Coast Guard 的
just like
船。
ours have those big diesel engines banging away in their engine rooms.
刚刚那艘应该不是海岸防卫队，这两艘才是 U.S. Coast Guard 的军
Just
舰。
like how you don't want to live right
海
next to
巡
a
队。
freeway, you don't want to hang out too much in a waterway full of those noisy diesel engines. So if we quiet down the ferry fleet, we might be seeing more orcas and whales closer to the city. I'd be a fan of that. Off the starboard side here, we've got a fueling barge. It says Nathan Schmidt on the side. You can tell the fueling barges because they have black hulls with gold trim. You see a little fence on the water that's called a boom, and that is there is a safety precaution. If there's a spill, oil being lighted in the water, we'll just throw it on the top so it's easy to clean up right up.
货柜港，
Fueling barges like that are also called bunker
在货柜港。
to refuel larger ships like cruise ships, container vessels, which are too big to pull into a gas station. We just passed
哦，要开进来货柜港，
to the gas station.
好酷！
So the gas station comes to them. Tugboat will pull a bunker barge up, hook up the hoses, and refill
放
those.
大率好高。
It's called bunkering, and they're called bunker barges as a term of art in the marine industry. Back in the days of steam, and the clearly was kept in an area of the ship called the bunker. So bunker became a nickname for people in general that stuck through. Bunker grade diesel is a grade of fuel. It's very specific, but in general, I think the last kind of bunker you got, it's just how much fuel you got in general. The process of fueling is called bunkering. Loading, someone would go drum up workers by calling out that there's work available for all men along the shore. That eventually just became short for one shore. So, about 200 feet tall control box. They're up to 400 feet tall. With a large space that upwards. They are manufactured. This are an afternoon.
好巨大哦！近看感觉超巨大的。吊货柜的手臂，远看小小的开船，近看就很大。大叫！啊！
So to get that job, first, to be considered for it, you have to be a longshoreman in good standing for at least 6 years. 2, you have to win the lottery.
Because so many people apply for the job that they have to randomly select which applications they have time to read. For reference, one of these jobs opened up, 2 of these jobs opened up here back around 2015. Something like 15,000 people applied for the 2 jobs, so they had to randomly select. Containerized shipping, though, pretty great, pretty stable. The current version of containerized shipping was invented back in the 50s.
不一样，这上面的感觉比较好哎。
你说最高层比较好。我们现在在中层。我们现在在中层。
And everyone went, wow, this is actually faster and cheaper. Thus, containers were born. They made the trailers without the wheels attached in the first place, and that's how we move large cargo around. Really a stable, secure way of moving cargo around. They lose about 1,500 containers a year off the sides of ships in bad weather. Sounds like a lot if you're looking at them at the same time. It would be a lot of containers, but it's actually 0.001%.
要回头了，
Cargo that goes around for a year.
不会晕的。
Really safe. Occasionally they'll lose one.
回头了，回头了。
Like in 1892. So what they did is they set up a hotline you can call from anywhere in the world, and they have newspaper advertisements out all over the world and say, hey, if you see one of these ducks wash up on your beach, pick up the phone, call this number, tell us where you found it, when you found it, and read us the serial number if you can. And so they turned those 28,000 bits of pollution into data points that they use to map out ocean currents that had previously not been fully charted. So they sketched out the size and the speed of the Great Pacific Gyre, which is a tremendously important current to understand for understanding, especially.
风景看够了，再看鲸鱼。你在玩什么？鲸鱼。
They triangulated the location of the Great Pacific Garbage Patch.
哦，海獭。
这是什么？
海獭。
A lot of important ocean science just by asking people to pick up the phone when they saw them.
小气。
是那海豹。
Some of them did get to Tacoma after a couple of weeks, but they've shown up frozen in Arctic sea ice. They've shown up in Australia. They've shown up on the other side of the world. The last one to be found was found on a beach in Scotland 15 years
我比较
later.
喜欢上层。
That one had quite the journey. If you were used by that,
这一层就卖吃的。
someone wrote a non-fiction
层是卖吃的。
they titled it Moby Duck. I believe we sell copies in our gift
下
shop.
层
And
看
if you like that little Herman Melville reference, then buckle up because Starbucks is next. They also named themselves after a character from the novel Moby Dick.
下层没人。
First mate of the Pequod, Starbuck, who always had to have coffee to get going. They wanted to name their company in honor of
下层一个人 ，Nobody here.
City. Coffee's a very maritime trade. They started here in 1971. They're a local Seattle success story. They went on to dominate the coffee business throughout the world. Helped popularize the Italian espresso style of enjoying bean juice that now is how most people get their caffeine throughout the world. So we're proud of Starbucks. They also help turn Seattle into a big coffee town. So you can get Starbucks back home. We like Starbucks. They've got a consistent product. We serve Starbucks coffee here on the boat. But I'd recommend for you visitors, if you want to get a real taste of Seattle, we got hundreds of independently owned and operated coffee shops. We've got dozens of local roasteries. Fun little cave rack thing. You can do your friends back home. Bring home a bag of authentic Seattle roasted coffee from someplace like Herkimer or Victrola. Just about any block that has a Starbucks on it here in Seattle will have a independent coffee shop as well. So I recommend checking it out. Again, no shade on Starbucks. Star's main job is during our summers, I believe it goes down to Antarctica and brings over a supply route that's used for the research station in Murdo in Antarctica. So keep it on for a few weeks, get some things done down